Have you ever looked at a fluent English speaker and thought, wow, they make it look so easy. How do they do it? Maybe you've even told yourself, I'll never speak that well. I make too many mistakes. But what if I told you that fluency isn't about perfection? Even native speakers make mistakes every day. They forget words, they correct themselves, and guess what? Nobody cares. They keep talking, and that's the real secret. Speaking English is not about memorizing thousands of words or perfecting every grammar rule. It's about confidence. It's about practicing the right way. It's about enjoying the process. Yes, English can actually be fun. Think about it. Did babies learn their first language by studying grammar books? No. They listened. They copied. They repeated. And guess what? You can learn English the same way. Take Mark Zuckerberg, for example. The man who created Facebook didn't just sit in a classroom to learn Mandarin. He practiced with native speakers every day, even when he made mistakes. Now, he can give speeches in Mandarin. Or J.K. Rowling, the famous author of Harry Potter. She was once terrified of public speaking, but she didn't let fear stop her. She practiced. She spoke. And today, her speeches inspire millions. Even Emma Watson, yes, Hermione Granger, learned fluent French not by studying boring textbooks, but by playing language games and telling stories. And what about you? Do you feel stuck? Afraid of making mistakes? Wondering if you'll ever be fluent? I have good news. You can do this. In this video, you'll discover simple, powerful techniques that will make speaking English feel as natural as riding a bike or singing your favorite song. You'll learn why talking to yourself in English can change everything. Why shadowing native speakers can make your accent stronger. Why making mistakes is actually a good thing. And the best part? It's all fun. So, if you've ever felt nervous, if you've ever thought I'll never be good at this, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll see English in a whole new way. Because fluency is not about going fast. It's about going far. And you don't have to do it alone. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The start of the journey, building confidence. Have you ever listened to someone speak English and thought, wow, they sound so fluent. How do they do it? Maybe you feel nervous when you speak English. Maybe you worry about making mistakes. If you do, you are not alone. Many people feel the same way when they start learning a new language. But here is a secret. Fluent speakers are not perfect. They make mistakes too. The difference is that they don't let mistakes stop them. They keep speaking with confidence, even when they don't know every word. Think about a baby learning to walk. Do babies fall when they take their first steps? Of course. They fall many times. But do they stop trying? No. They stand up and try again. This is how we learn anything new, including English. If you wait until you know every word or every grammar rule, you will never start speaking. But if you start speaking now, even with mistakes, you will improve much faster. Confidence is the key. Let me tell you a story about Jack Ma. Jack Ma is the founder of Alibaba, one of the biggest companies in the world. But when he was young, he struggled with English. He didn't have good English classes in school, and he didn't have apps or online videos to help him. So what did he do? He found another way to learn. Every morning, he rode his bicycle to a hotel in his city. Why? Because there were tourists at the hotel who spoke English. Jack Ma talked to them every day. At first, he made mistakes. Sometimes he didn't know the right words. But he kept speaking. He kept trying. And every day, his confidence grew. Over time, he became fluent. Later, this confidence helped him start a global company and become one of the most successful businessmen in the world. Can you imagine if Jack Ma had been too shy to speak? What if he had said, "My English is not perfect, so I will wait until I learn more words"? He might have never improved, but he was brave. He practiced, and you can do the same. Why is confidence so important? Think about two people learning English. The first person knows a lot of grammar rules and vocabulary, but they are afraid to speak. They think, what if I make a mistake? What if people laugh? So they stay quiet. The second person doesn't know as many words, but they speak anyway. If they forget a word, they use another word. If they make a mistake, they smile and keep going. Who do you think will improve faster? The second person, because speaking is the best way to learn. The more you speak, the more confident you become. And the more confident you become, the better you will speak. Mark Twain, a famous writer, once said, "Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear." What does this mean? It means that everyone feels afraid sometimes, but confident people don't let fear stop them. You don't need to wait until you feel 100% ready. You just need to start. How can you start building confidence today? You might be thinking, okay, I understand that confidence is important, but how do I build it? Great question. Here are some simple things you can do today. Talk to yourself in English. Look in the mirror and say, "Good morning. How are you today?" It might feel funny at first, but it really helps. Read something in English out loud. It can be a short story, a news article, or even this lesson. Reading out loud helps you practice pronunciation and feel more comfortable speaking. Try to speak English for 1 minute every day. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try. What did you eat for breakfast? What is the weather like today? Say it in English. Find a friend who is also learning English. You can help each other. If you don't have an English-speaking friend, you can find people online who want to practice too. Remember that mistakes are okay. Mistakes are not bad. They are part of learning. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something new. Now let's think about what you've learned. Try to answer the questions in English. 1. What is the most important difference between fluent speakers and beginners? Fluent speakers keep going, even when they don't know every word. They don't stop when they make a mistake. Instead, they use gestures, synonyms, or simple words to express their ideas. Beginners, on the other hand, often hesitate or stop speaking because they are afraid of making mistakes. 2. Why is confidence important for speaking English? Confidence helps you speak without fear. If you are too worried about mistakes, you might stay silent. But if you believe in yourself, you will keep talking, and that's how you improve. Confidence also makes your voice clearer and your words more natural. People enjoy listening to a confident speaker. 3. How can you start building confidence today? You can start by talking to yourself in English about your day or your thoughts. Practicing with a mirror or recording yourself also helps. Another great way is to shadow native speakers by repeating their words. Finally, don't be afraid to speak with others. Even small conversations can boost your confidence. 4. What did Jack Ma do to improve his English? Jack Ma practiced by talking with tourists in his city every day. Instead of just studying from a book, he had real conversations with native speakers. This helped him gain confidence and fluency, which later helped him build a global company. 5. Are mistakes bad? Why or why not? Mistakes are not bad. They are actually good. Every mistake is a chance to learn and improve. Even native speakers make mistakes, but they don't stop speaking. The most important thing is to keep going and learn from your mistakes instead of being afraid of them. Chapter 2. The Power of Active Listening. Many people believe that speaking fluently means talking a lot. But here's something interesting. Fluent speakers are also great listeners. Have you ever noticed how babies learn a language? Do they start by speaking full sentences? No. First, they listen. They listen to their parents, their family, and the people around them. Only after listening for a long time do they start speaking. This is the same for learning English. If you want to speak well, you need to listen well. Listening is the foundation of fluency. But not just any kind of listening. You need to practice active listening. What is active listening? Active listening means really paying attention when someone speaks. It's not just hearing words. It's noticing how the words are said. Listen to how people pronounce words. Notice how sentences flow. Pay attention to how native speakers connect their ideas. Imagine you are watching a movie in English. If you are only watching for fun, you may not notice the small details in how people speak. But if you practice active listening, you focus on the words, the sounds, and the way sentences are formed. You try to understand not just the meaning, but also the way people express their thoughts. A simple exercise, shadowing. One great way to practice active listening is through shadowing. Shadowing means listening to someone speak and repeating what they say immediately. This helps you with pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. Try this. Find a short audio clip or a video in English. Listen to a sentence, pause, and repeat it. Try to copy the speaker's voice, their speed, and their tone. If you do this every day, even for 5 minutes, your speaking skills will improve a lot. Elon Musk, the famous businessman and inventor, was not always a confident speaker. When he started giving speeches, he was nervous, and people didn't always understand him. But he wanted to improve. So what did he do? Elon Musk listened carefully to great speakers. He studied how they spoke. He paid attention to their tone, their pauses, and the way they communicated ideas. Then, he mimicked their styles. He tried to speak like them. Over time, his speaking skills improved, and now he speaks with confidence in front of large audiences. What can we learn from Elon Musk? Listening carefully and copying good speakers can help you become a better speaker too. Stephen R. Covey once said, "Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply." What does this mean? Sometimes, when people listen, they are not really paying attention. They are just waiting for their turn to speak. But if you truly focus on understanding the speaker, you will learn more and improve faster. How can you start today? You can practice active listening in many ways. Here are some ideas. Listen to short audio clips or podcasts in English. Focus on how the words are said. Watch movies or TV shows in English with subtitles. Try to match the words to the sounds. Find a short sentence from a video, repeat it, and try to sound just like the speaker. Have a conversation with a friend and really focus on what they say before you respond. Let's check how well you understood this lesson. Write your answers in the comments. 1. Why is listening important for speaking fluently? Listening helps you learn how words sound, how sentences flow, and how native speakers express their ideas. When you listen a lot, your brain starts to recognize patterns, and you can use them when you speak. It's like learning a song. If you hear it many times, you remember the lyrics and the melody. 2. What is the difference between passive and active listening? Passive listening is when you hear something but don't really pay attention. For example, if English is playing in the background while you do other things, that's passive listening. Active listening means focusing on what you hear, trying to understand words, and maybe even repeating them. Active listening helps you improve your speaking skills much faster. 3. How does shadowing help improve fluency? Shadowing means listening to a speaker and repeating their words right away. It helps you improve pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence. It also trains your mouth to move like a native speaker. The more you shadow, the more natural your English sounds. 4. Can you think of a time when you listened carefully and learned something new? Yes. I remember listening to an English podcast about traveling. At first, I didn't understand everything, but I listened again and focused on new words. After that, I could talk about travel more easily because I had learned new expressions. Chapter 3. The Repetition Technique. Have you ever listened to a song many times and suddenly realized you know all the words? You didn't study the lyrics, but somehow your brain remembered them. That is the power of repetition. Repetition is one of the best ways to make speaking English feel natural. When you hear or say a word many times, your brain remembers it more quickly. After enough repetition, you don't even have to think. You just say it. This is how native speakers speak without stopping to think about grammar or vocabulary. Why does repetition work? Think about when you learned to ride a bicycle. Did you ride perfectly the first time? No. You practiced again and again until it became easy. The same is true for learning English. The more you repeat words and phrases, the faster you learn. For example, imagine you are learning the phrase, "How are you today?" At first, you might think about each word. But if you say it every day, soon it becomes automatic. You don't have to think. You just say it. This is how fluency happens. Let's talk about someone famous who used repetition in an amazing way, Muhammad Ali. You probably know him as one of the greatest boxers in history. But did you know he was also a great speaker? Muhammad Ali loved using short, powerful phrases. He repeated them again and again, and soon, people remembered his words. One of his most famous lines was, "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee." He said it so many times that today, everyone knows it. But why did he do this? Because repetition made his words strong. It made people listen. And most importantly, it made him confident. Just like Ali repeated his words, you can repeat English phrases until they feel natural for you. The philosopher Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. This means that if you want to be good at something, like speaking English, you must practice it again and again. It's not about doing something once. It's about making it a habit. How can you use repetition to improve your English? Here are some simple ways you can use repetition to become a fluent speaker. Repeat common phrases every day. For example, say good morning every morning or thank you every time you get something. These small habits make a big difference. Watch a short video and repeat after the speaker. Try to copy the words exactly. This helps you improve pronunciation and rhythm. Use flashcards. Write a new word on one side and the meaning on the other. Say the word out loud every time you see the card. Have a word of the day. Choose one new word and try to use it 5 times that day. The more you use it, the faster you will remember it. Sing along to English songs. Music is a great way to practice repetition without feeling like you're studying. Do you remember the key points from this lesson? Try answering these. 1. How does repetition help with fluency? Repetition helps your brain remember words and sentences more easily. When you say the same phrases again and again, they become automatic. You don't have to stop and think about every word. You can just speak naturally. It's like learning to ride a bike. At first, it's difficult, but the more you practice, the easier it gets. 2. What are some effective ways to practice repetition? One great way is reading out loud every day. You can also repeat common phrases that native speakers use, like, "How's it going?" or "That sounds great." Another method is shadowing, listening to a speaker and repeating their words right away. Watching movies and repeating lines from your favorite characters is also a fun way to practice. 3. Can you think of a phrase you often use? Try repeating it now. Yes, I often say, practice makes perfect. I'll repeat it now. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. Saying it over and over helps me remember it easily. Chapter 4. Making practice fun. Have you ever noticed that when you enjoy something, you remember it better? Think about your favorite song. You didn't study the lyrics, but after listening a few times, you knew all the words. Why? Because it was fun. The same is true for learning English. When learning is fun, you learn faster and remember more. Some people think learning English means sitting with a book, memorizing grammar rules, and doing boring exercises. But that's not true. You can learn English in exciting and creative ways. When you enjoy the process, you will want to practice more, and the more you practice, the better you become. How can you make English practice fun? There are many ways to make English learning enjoyable. Here are some ideas to try. Role-playing. Pretend to be in different situations. Imagine you are in a restaurant and practice ordering food. Or pretend to be a tour guide showing your city to a visitor. This makes learning feel real and exciting. Talking about your hobbies. Do you love sports, music, or cooking? Talk about what you love in English. It's easier to learn when you are interested in the topic. Speaking games. Play games like 20 questions, where one person thinks of a word, and the other asks yes/no questions to guess it. Games help you practice without stress. Storytelling. Make up a short story in English. It can be funny, exciting, or even a little crazy. You can tell it to a friend, record yourself, or even write it down. Watching movies and acting out scenes. Choose a short scene from a movie, listen carefully, and try to act it out. You don't have to be a great actor, just have fun. Did you know that Emma Watson, the famous actress from Harry Potter, speaks fluent French? She didn't just learn it by studying books. She used role-playing and storytelling to make learning fun. Instead of just memorizing words, she acted out conversations and created stories in French. This helped her learn quickly and enjoy the process. Later, when she became a UN Goodwill Ambassador, her ability to communicate clearly and confidently helped her speak in front of the world. Imagine if she had only studied grammar and never practiced speaking. What can we learn from Emma Watson? Learning doesn't have to be serious all the time. The more you enjoy it, the faster you improve. Albert Einstein once said, "Creativity is intelligence having fun." This means that learning is not just about studying hard. It's also about being creative and enjoying the process. When you have fun, your brain works better, and you remember things more easily. Challenge yourself with some fun questions. 1. Why is it important to make English practice fun? When something is fun, you want to do it more often. If learning English feels like boring homework, you might stop practicing. But if you enjoy it, by playing games, watching movies, or talking about things you love, you will learn faster and remember more. Learning a language should feel exciting, not stressful. 2. Which technique sounds the most fun to you? I think role-playing sounds the most fun. Pretending to be a tourist asking for directions or a customer at a cafe makes English feel like real life. I also like singing English songs because it helps with pronunciation and rhythm. 3. Can you think of a role-playing situation to try today? Yes. I can pretend to be in a restaurant and practice ordering food in English. I can say, "Hello, I would like a cheeseburger and a glass of water, please." Then, I can imagine how the waiter would respond. It's a great way to practice real conversations. Chapter 5. Breaking through speaking blocks. Have you ever wanted to say something in English but stopped because you were afraid of making a mistake? Maybe you thought, what if I say the wrong word? What if people laugh at me? If you've ever felt this way, you are not alone. Many learners feel stuck because they worry too much about being perfect. But here's the truth. Even native speakers make mistakes. Have you ever heard someone say, "Oops, that's not what I meant"? Or wait, let me say that again? This happens all the time, even for people who have spoken English their whole lives. The key is not to be perfect, but to keep talking. If you stop every time you make a mistake, you won't improve. But if you keep going, your confidence will grow, and soon, speaking will feel natural. Why do people hesitate to speak? Many learners hesitate because they think, what if I sound silly? What if I use the wrong grammar? But let's think about something. When a baby learns to walk, do they fall? Yes. Do they stop trying? No. They keep going, and soon, they can walk without thinking. Speaking English is the same. Mistakes are part of learning. If you never try, you will never improve. But if you keep going, one day you will speak without fear. J.K. Rowling, the famous author of Harry Potter, is one of the best-known writers in the world. But did you know she was once afraid of public speaking? When she was younger, she didn't like talking in front of people. She worried about making mistakes and felt nervous. But she didn't let fear stop her. She practiced, spoke at small events, and little by little, she became more confident. Eventually, she gave famous speeches at universities and big events around the world. If J.K. Rowling had let fear stop her, she would never have become the confident speaker she is today. This shows us that confidence doesn't come all at once. It comes with practice. Henry Ford, the man who created the first cars, once said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently." This means that every mistake is a chance to learn. If you say something wrong, don't feel bad. Learn from it and try again. What can you do if you don't have anyone to practice with? Not everyone has a friend or teacher to practice with, but that's okay. Here are some ways to practice speaking, even if you are alone. Self-talk. Talk to yourself in English. Describe what you are doing, what you see, or what you plan to do today. For example, say, "I am making coffee. It smells good. After that, I will go to work." This helps you think in English. Read aloud. Take a book, article, or even a short text message and read it out loud. This helps your mouth get used to speaking English. Use voice recordings. Record yourself speaking and listen to it. You might feel shy at first, but this will help you hear your progress. Practice in front of a mirror. Stand in front of a mirror and pretend you are talking to someone. This helps you feel more comfortable when speaking. Use language apps. Some apps let you practice speaking and even correct your pronunciation. Let's review the most important ideas from this lesson. 1. What is the biggest reason people hesitate to speak? The biggest reason is fear of making mistakes. Many people worry that others will laugh at them or that they won't sound correct. But mistakes are a natural part of learning. Even native speakers make mistakes. The important thing is to keep speaking and not be afraid. 2. What can you do if you don't have anyone to practice with? You can talk to yourself in English. Describe what you're doing, like, "I am making coffee now." You can also use language exchange apps to find a speaking partner or practice by recording your voice and listening to it. Watching English videos and repeating what you hear is also a great way to practice alone. 3. How can self-talk help improve fluency? Self-talk helps because it trains your brain to think in English. The more you speak to yourself, the more natural it feels to use English. It also helps you build confidence because there's no pressure. No one is listening, so you can just practice freely. Chapter 6. Finding speaking partners. Have you ever tried learning something by yourself and felt like it was taking forever? Maybe you wanted to learn a new sport, play an instrument, or even cook a new dish. But when you had someone to practice with, everything felt easier and more fun. The same is true for learning English. Practicing alone is helpful, but practicing with a partner makes you learn faster. A speaking partner helps you stay motivated, corrects your mistakes, and makes conversations feel real. When you talk to someone, you get used to thinking in English instead of translating in your head. This is how you build fluency. Why is speaking with a partner helpful? Imagine you are learning how to swim. If you only read about swimming, will you become a good swimmer? No. You have to get in the water and practice. Speaking English is the same. You need real conversations to improve. A speaking partner helps you. Practice real conversations so you feel more natural. Learn new words and expressions from everyday speech. Build confidence because speaking with a friend is less stressful. Stay motivated because learning together is more fun. Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, is a great example of how practicing with native speakers can improve language skills. He wanted to learn Mandarin, but instead of just studying textbooks, he found native speakers to talk to. He practiced every day, listened carefully, and even gave speeches in Mandarin. At first, his speaking was slow, and he made mistakes. But he didn't stop. He kept speaking, learning from others, and improving step by step. Eventually, he was able to give a full speech in Mandarin in front of a Chinese audience. What can we learn from Mark Zuckerberg? The best way to improve your speaking is to speak, even if it's not perfect. Where can you find speaking partners? You might be thinking, I don't have anyone to practice English with. But don't worry, there are many ways to find speaking partners. Language exchange apps like HelloTalk or Tandem connect you with native speakers who want to learn your language. You can chat, call, and even send voice messages. Online speaking clubs. Many websites and social media groups have free conversation clubs where you can meet other learners and practice together. English classes or local groups. Look for English classes, book clubs, or conversation meetups in your city. Friends and family. Even if they don't speak perfect English, practicing together helps build confidence. You can teach them new words, and they can help you stay motivated. What if you don't have a speaking partner? Sometimes, finding a partner is difficult, but don't let that stop you. Here are ways to practice speaking alone. Talk to yourself. Describe what you are doing, thinking, or planning. For example, say, I am making dinner. It smells delicious. After dinner, I will watch a movie. Use voice recordings. Record yourself speaking and listen to it later. Try to improve your pronunciation each time. Read aloud. Take a book or an article and read it in your best English voice. This helps with pronunciation and fluency. Watch videos and repeat. Listen to English videos and try to copy what the speaker says. This is called shadowing and is a great way to improve. There is an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This means that working alone might be quick, but if you want to succeed in the long run, working with others is better. Learning English is easier and more fun when you learn with a partner. Are you ready to test your understanding? Let's give it a try. 1. Why is speaking with a partner helpful? Speaking with a partner helps because it makes English feel real. When you have a conversation, you practice listening, thinking, and responding quickly, just like in real life. A partner can also correct your mistakes and teach you new words. Plus, it's more fun to learn with someone else. 2. Where can you find speaking partners? You can find speaking partners online through language exchange apps or Facebook groups like Learn English with Stories 365. You can also join English speaking clubs in your city or take part in online forums where learners practice together. Sometimes, even friends or family members can help if they know some English. 3. What can you do if you don't have a speaking partner? If you don't have a partner, you can still practice by yourself. Try self-talk. Describe what you are doing in English. You can also record your voice and listen to it. Another great method is shadowing, where you repeat what native speakers say in movies or videos. These methods help you improve, even when practicing alone. Try to answer these questions in English. Remember, the more you speak, the better you get. So start looking for a speaking partner today. And if you don't have one yet, talk to yourself. Every word you say in English brings you one step closer to fluency. You've made it to the end of this video. And that tells me something important about you. You are determined. You are committed. You are someone who doesn't give up. And that is exactly the kind of mindset that leads to fluency. Learning English isn't always easy, but look at you. You are taking steps every day to improve. You are listening, learning, and pushing yourself forward. That's something to be proud of. Remember, fluency is not about being perfect. It's about being brave. It's about speaking, making mistakes, learning from them, and enjoying the journey. Just like Mark Zuckerberg practiced Mandarin, just like J.K. Rowling overcame her fear of public speaking, just like Emma Watson made language learning fun, you can do this too. And you don't have to do it alone. Join our community of learners in our Facebook group, Learn English with Stories 365, a place where you can connect with others, practice, and stay motivated. The link is in the description. Also, to help you on your journey, I have a special PDF file for you. It contains 1,000 of the most common English words, with definitions and example sentences to make learning easier. You'll find the download link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep improving your English with more fun and inspiring stories, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new lesson. Keep going, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. You are on your way to fluency, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. See you soon.